Okay, so we have our chat application initialized. We just have the basic initial website with no functionality really built into it. And we have our web server running so that way we can see all of the changes that we're about to make. Again, by running IEX space, no, you can see the command here. So this is the one you want. Yep, so we'll go ahead and create our home page. So inside of the lib folder, you have the chat_web folder where we handle all of the incoming web requests to Phoenix. Our router is currently pointing to a page controller expecting GET requests. We want to change this over to be a LiveView template. So we're going to set that over to live and we're going to call this home live. This will be our home page for our chat web application. Inside of the chat_web, we need to set up an area where we're going to have all of our live templates and so forth. So we're going to set up a live folder here with a new file that's going to be called home_live.ex. This is where we're going to create our module for our home page. So we're going to do def module, and that auto generates the web application is chat web. That's the name of our application, and it generated the home live area. So now we're going to use our chat web, and we are going to use LiveView. This is going to be a LiveView. And we're going to set up anytime you're using LiveView, you need to make sure that you set up a socket, right? So we need to mount a socket. So we're going to do def mount, and we are going to mount our socket. But we're not going to use any params yet, and we're not going to use our session data. And we are going to need the socket though. So we need to return a socket to the user when they come to the home page, and we'll return that the status is okay to them, and we'll give them that socket. Now, little typo here. The typo is because this use is capitalized. Let's make this lowercase. So yeah, this word use should be all lowercase. Use chat web, and then if we resave that, it's going to be good. Yeah, there's an error. This is because we don't have the render function. I wanted to show that as well. So if you try to run this now, you'll get the error that the render function doesn't exist. So in order to go along with the cycle, so just to talk briefly about the LiveView cycle, you always will mount your socket, and then you need to have a render function or alternatively a LiveView template. Initially, let's just go ahead and create a render function just so that we can demonstrate how that works again. But then after we create our render function, we'll move this over to be a live view later. So just want to demonstrate this again because it's good practice and we don't forget it, that if you have a render function, you can do a squiggly line and an H so that you set up your Heeks code, which is your embedded Elixir in HTML. So inside of here, we're just going to say chat homepage. And this will allow us to render our web page, and it looks good. Now, the other thing that it's doing though, you see that there is a layout here on the top. This code is provided to us by the Phoenix framework out of the box, and we could modify it, but we can also disable it. And for the purposes of our application, we can just go ahead and I'm going to show you how to disable that. So the way you disable layouts is you go into the chat_web folder, and under the chat_web.ex, where we have our chat web module, in here there is a layout that's being set up right now for our live view. So we can just go ahead and remove that layout. We're just going to delete this. And then you'll see that this layout will disappear when we refresh our page, and we just have the text that we've generated. So like I said, we're not going to use a render function for the purposes of this chat application. I think it's cleaner to just go ahead and use all LiveView templates. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I wanted to just demonstrate again that the render function is necessary, or a LiveView template. So let's create a LiveView template to show that method, which I think is going to be cleaner, especially for our second page. So let's just go ahead and do home_live.html.hex, which is pronounced Heeks, is the proper name, but I've also heard it pronounced hex. I'll call it whatever you want, really. And then in here, we're going to move over our code, which is just a simple phrase. We're going to delete our render function though. So let's delete that render function, put some stuff in here and call it LiveView template. I know I have a typo there. So let's just fix that. And then you can see that this is still rendering and it's clearly coming from a different page because we got rid of that render function altogether. So yeah, this is one of the things that I personally really like about Phoenix LiveView is that it just assumes that your LiveView template is going to match the name of your module. And it makes it really easy to locate them and use them. And if this was named anything else, it would not work. So if we did like live or home live 2, for example, then this will break and this won't render. And it will say that it's trying to find that path specifically. So let's go ahead and fix that so that our application is working. And now we're going to make this start to do something. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the purpose of our homepage. So we want to be able to go to a chat room of some sort where we can discuss a topic with other users. So we're going to set up a button that'll be like, it'll be a button that will submit us to another page. And it'll be like join topic. And then we can just close out our button. So again, whenever you're using anything that's form related inside of Phoenix LiveView, the latest version uses the dot notation as a helper function to create the buttons. So dot button, for example, instead of just simply button. So dot button. And that'll generate our button. It says join topic. And we want to, well, first of all, since we got rid of our layout, I guess I don't want to have a button in the corner here. So another really cool thing about Phoenix 1.7 is it now ships with Tailwind CSS out of the box. So what we can do is we can take this button and we can apply Tailwind CSS to it. So let's just do a real basic structure to our website. So we'll have a container and we'll have something that inside of that container div that's gonna get centered, and then we're gonna put our button inside of here, and then we can just go ahead and format this, and then we're going to set it so that the class is equal to a flex class, and then we can go ahead and change this div to have class. We're gonna center it by doing margin left right by X to auto. And so that centers our button nicely. And then what we can do is it's really close to the top. So we can also use Tailwind as our friend to just do margin top. And we'll set that to something like 40. And that's good for now. So now our button is going to take us over to a topic. In order to do that, we're going to need to build out this form more. So let's go ahead and create a form. And the way we do that is we do a dot form syntax. We're going to let our form we're going to do let f, and then we are going to track for our change set, which this is referred to as a change set, and I'm literally going to call it change set to just emphasize that point. Although traditionally you would probably call your change set something else meaningful, but I'm just going to call it change set because that's what it is, just to instill the concept. This will be our topic form, and this is how we declare a topic. And then we're going to need an event when we submit our forms. We're going to do Phoenix submit is how we say that we are going to submit. On any submission, we're going to submit this as an event. And we'll call this go to topic because we want to go to a topic when we submit the form. And then we're just going to go ahead and put our button inside of that form, and we are going to close our form. And if we save that, we get a variable f is unused. So yeah, we're not submitting anything in our change set with this form yet. So we want to submit an input where the user will submit what their change what their topic is. So we're going to do an input field. We're going to tie it in to communicate with the form, and we're going to submit the topic with this. And so this will be the topic name, and then our value is just going to be nothing by default, and then we can add a placeholder that'll say something to the effect of enter your topic name. And then what's this squiggly line? Unmatched closing character. Okay. All right, so we're good to go, and just we can add a little bit of spacing here. That looks a little bit better. So here we'll submit our topic name, and this, if we submit it now, it's going to break because you can see we have a go to topic event that is not being handled. So if I try to do something like, topic name cars, then it's going to do nothing. And if we go back to our server, you can see it threw an error, and it just simply says that the handle event for go to topic is not being handled. And you can see that the topic name was cars. You can see all the information that we're passing into it. So what we can do is we can cheat. And if you've watched any of my previous videos that I love to do this, I love to just use the errors that it gives us as a nice way to go ahead and create what we need to create. So we're going to create a handle event that's going to handle the go-to topic. It handles a change set, which is our parameters that are being passed in. And then, of course, it takes the socket. It always takes the socket. And then inside of our handle event here, what we can do is we will want to redirect the user to the topic that they want to talk about. So we don't have to do anything sophisticated for that. We're just going to create a topic link, and it's going to be set to like / and whatever the topic name is. So topic name, we're going to just simply pattern match. So all you have to do to pattern match, if this is the value that we're passing that we want to match on, we just capture the value by putting the variable right on top of it, and that'll pattern match it with Elixir. And then so our topic link is how we're going to go to the next page. So we are going to set this up to do a no reply, and we are going to push to redirect the socket to this new topic link, not topic name, topic link. Yeah, and that will go ahead and push the user to another page. So let's try that out and see if it takes us to a new page. So we should hopefully see that this takes us to localhost 4000 / and whatever we name it. So before we did cars, now we'll do pets, and it takes us to / pets. Now the issue here is that there's no endpoint to handle pets, right? So all we have is our first page where we are just allowing the user to basically enter anything they want, and it will take them to another /. And what we're going to do in the next step and in the next videos, we're going to set it up so that our Phoenix application will handle anything that's on the / as a topic that users can discuss information on. So in this lesson, you have your home page set up, and it should look like this. And then you can enter a topic name, and it will redirect you to another page. If you hit it and you don't type anything, it keeps you on the home page. But as long as you type something, it will redirect you to whatever page you type. And so that's how you also redirect users, by using the push redirect. And additionally, you just assign the socket and you tell it where you want to go to, and that'll change the user to a different page. So very simple. And we saw how to handle the go-to topic event. And this is going to be it for our home page. We really won't need to change anything else here. We really are going to be focused on building out the chat room, and we're going to do that starting in the next step. So I'll see you in the next lesson.